Hey everyone. So today I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about how we can feel in our own skin having bipolar. I know it's hard for people to understand like an invisible illness sometimes because we're not wearing it exactly on the outside. Um, I guess I'll just start with like it can be sometimes exhausting and completely overwhelming to live in your own skin almost. You feel like there is, at least for me personally, I feel like there's like another side of me that shares the same body with me. It's like the manic depressive side of me, and it fights sometimes with the real me to come out, and a lot of the time the real me wins, but sometimes the manic depressive me wins, and that's the person that ends up coming out. And sometimes I can wrangle her back into her cage and continue on or salvage the day, and sometimes I can't. When I'm upset, it's not always because of my bipolar. This one drives me completely insane. It's like just because we have a mental illness, whenever we're sad or upset about something, we're automatically in like a bipolar state, or having a bipolar moment, or whatever people like to call it. And it hurts really bad because we're completely capable of feeling human normal emotions as well. And when people think that we aren't capable of them, or everything is associated with our illness, it just like kind of makes us feel like people think we have become our illness, and that's not true. I'm still in control. It's hard, yeah, some days, but I mean, most of the time I'm present. I'm the one in control. I'm the one in the driver's seat, or however you want to say it. We don't choose to feel the way that we do. We're not crazy. We literally just have an illness, and we deserve to be treated with respect like anybody else does. And a lot of the time you don't get that respect, especially if you're an open person about your illness and it's something that you share with people right away. You may notice that people withdraw from you immediately. You may notice that people will have like almost terrified looks on their faces sometimes because they've obviously known someone in their past that has bipolar and have had bad experiences with their mania or whatever, and they just assume that you're going to be the same or worse. So sometimes sharing that you have an illness, it just like kind of goes against you, and it shouldn't, because like I said, we all deserve to be treated with respect. You wouldn't treat someone who has, Down syndrome, or someone who's diabetic, or someone who has cancer, or, someone who has leukemia. Like, you wouldn't treat them any differently. You treat them with respect. So I just don't understand why people have such a lack of understanding around bipolar. another thing is, I know that I'm hard to be friends with, but the friends that do stick around mean the absolute world to me, and without them I would have nothing, pretty much. As the years have gone by, my friends have now dwindled down to one. And because I live in the middle of nowhere and neither one of us has a car, we barely get to see each other. So all I can really do is talk to her on Facebook. Everyone else is pretty much left me over the years, or felt like used me and then got rid of me for whatever they needed out of me, because I am articulate and creative and talented in certain aspects of my life, and I have a big heart. I let people take advantage of me, I guess. I tend to put everybody else before myself constantly, and it ends up hurting me in the long run, especially friend-wise. I always think I'm making the right decisions, or, like choosing the right path, and it feels like I just never can make the right decisions when it comes to friendships. And it frustrates me because I can succeed so well in like school and work environments, but like socially it's like I completely crash, burn, and fail, and I just wish I knew what I could do better to make my relationships, I don't know, work, make my friends feel like they can trust me, and I don't know, just have normal friendships. I wish that people also understood like how complex bipolar can be sometimes. Like, it's not necessarily up one day and down the next. It's up and down in one day sometimes. It's up and down multiple times in one day sometimes. And then there's other times where you're up for months and you feel awesome and normal. And then, like, there's no, like, one, prescription, I guess you can say, to bipolar. Like, everyone's illness affects them differently, depending on how you think and your environment and the support systems you have and the medications you're taking, and it's a very complex disease to understand, get a grip on, and take control of sometimes. And I wish that people would be a little more sympathetic to it, because it's not like I'm not trying to get a grip on my life. I don't want to be a blubbering, crying mess. I don't want to be bouncing off the walls manic. I don't want to be breaking things in my own house. I don't want to be yelling to the point where I lose my voice. I don't want to be doing those things. But it's complex. We don't want pity. Like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me because I have bipolar. Like, yeah, I suffer mentally, but I don't want you to feel sorry for me in any way. Like, in many ways, bipolar has helped me through certain parts of my life, and in other ways it's made parts of my life that much worse, but it's what, was given to me. It was the hand I was dealt. So I try not to complain about it, and I just try to find ways to deal better and coping mechanisms and learn more triggers and traps and how to avoid them, and just strive for overall happiness, because I know when I feel happy, that's when I'm the least manic and I am the least depressed. Like, that's when I am the most normal, is when I am feeling happy with my life. So, some of the other notes I wanted to hit on, let's see here. You're gonna make mistakes. Like, no matter how hard you keep at working at keeping yourself in a balanced state of mind, you're gonna slip up, and it's okay. Like, any normal person makes mistakes too, so we are entitled to make mistakes as well. And you shouldn't feel bad about them. I'm finding it hard to say that because I feel bad about most of the things that I've done when I'm manic, or some of the things that I've said when I'm manic, but you're gonna make mistakes, and it's okay. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try to figure out a way to just keep moving forward, because giving up is not an option, ever. Don't ever even put that in your mind. On the surface, sometimes it may look like that I'm coping fine, and it takes a huge amount of like willpower and inner strength to do that. And it's hard to do, everyday things, but you have to keep doing them, because that's what's normal. And that's what we're striving for, right? Feeling normal and happy, and in the end, that's what we have to keep doing. I know there's a lot of controversy around if we should say that we are bipolar or that we have bipolar. Honestly, either way to me, it doesn't really matter. But I see it as I have an illness. I'm not bipolar all the time, so I can't say that I am bipolar. You know what I mean? Like, I say that I have bipolar because it's not, a constant in my life. It's like the little demon that pops out of the closet every once in a while. So you kind of have to fight back in there and get on with your life. The mood swings can come on very fast and without warning sometimes, and that's usually when me personally, when I lose control, and I usually will end up having an anxiety attack or a panic attack, and especially if I'm in a small space like the car, or if I'm in a small room in the house, I just need to get out, and I just need to have fresh air and breathe. it's like two like crazy sides to the spectrum. Like, you know, depending on the day, depending on what happened, the incident, sometimes I want to just be completely left alone and no one talk to me or check on me or anything. And then there are other days where I don't want to be left alone at all. I need to have someone there with me constantly, and the moment they go for the door, I just start feeling like abandonment creeping in, and it's hard to deal with the bouncing back and forth on the spectrums. And I know my husband especially feels guilty sometimes because he can't like fix it when I'm really struggling, and I can understand the frustration behind it, but sometimes we don't want you to fix it. We just need you to be there with us and love and support us and just listen to our crazy, tearful, babbling rants and just hold us afterwards and tell us it's gonna be okay. That's all we need. There are times where I literally can't calm down. Like, I get myself so worked up that I'm like hyperventilating and crying and rocking back and forth and pulling at my chest or my stomach, or just like, you know, holding myself really tightly, just like trying to calm down. And I just keep saying, I want to calm down. I can't calm down. I can't calm down. I can't calm down. I can't calm down. Those are the moments that are absolutely the worst, because you literally feel like at any moment you could just completely black out, like pass out on the floor. And when you get yourself that worked up, like, you start worrying about the long-term effects that you may be doing to your body. And I mean, my mom had a stroke pretty young, before she was 50, so I mean, all the stress that bipolar puts me through, I'm just like, I'm worried all the time now that I'm going to end up having a stroke or a heart attack or something by the time I'm 40, and I'm not even going to get to see half of the things in my life that I want to see. There are times that I really am doing the best I can, though it may seems like I'm doing nothing. I'm really like just trying to work things out in my head and get back to like a mental focal point where I can move forward physically, because if you're not good mentally, going back to work or school or social environments and things like that are just putting more and more pressure on you, or food on your plate, or whatever metaphor you want to use, and it isn't good for you. It will slowly, over time, utterly break you down to a point where you either have a severe manic episode like I did and do something stupid and end up in the mental hospital, or you have a complete depressive episode and end up with a suicide attempt. And neither one of them are are good. You don't want to go either way. So I'm just giving just like some thoughts that I've been like jotting down as I've been doing these videos lately that I've been wanting to cover, but I'm not sure like how to include them in other videos. So I guess we'll just call this like the random thought video. There was one other point that I just wanted to hit on. Because I've struggled so much and I've seen, I don't know, like, how to explain this? I've seen like the absolute depths of darkness, of sadness, of despair. My compassion, my sympathy for others, my love for others runs so much deeper than I think the average person. And I think my passion and my love for certain things in my life and certain people just scares people away. And I wish I knew how to temper it down, but I can't help it. I don't know how to love with half of my heart. I only love with my whole heart, and that's the way I'm always going to be. I'm always going to wear my heart on my sleeve. So I guess I have to get used to being let down. And yeah, I just wanted to do this video on my random collective thoughts. So I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay strong and remember, you're not alone.